Good day, Nestor with Group 3. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to touch base on some of the things that you may need if you're thinking about painting a room, a house, or even a cabinet, something small like that. If you're interested in finding out what you're going to need to do a successful paint job, stay tuned. Yeah, so what are you gonna need? You're gonna need all this. What do you need to do a successful paint job? Number one, probably the most important, is you gotta have the right mindset. If you think you're just gonna go in there and just paint without preparation, you will have a really serious failed painting job. And the reason why I say that is for every successful paint job, preparation in the beginning and cleanup at the end is probably the most important. Preparation, obviously, you want to know what you're painting. Why is it important to know what you are painting? Are you painting the ceiling? Are you painting the walls? Are you painting the floor? That will lead you to purchasing the correct materials for painting that particular surface. I'm just talking about inside a regular house. This is the Salamanca house. The painting part is what will attract buyers. You want to make sure that your painting surfaces are in good condition. There are little marks here. They are what used to be holes for hanging pictures or memorabilia. I'm not really. I had Christopher go in there in the whole house, and I had him plug up all the little holes and then sanded it so that it's nice and flat. That in itself was an effort because you first have to apply the material. Christopher chose to use this product. It's called Drydex. When you apply it, it applies this particular color. It's a pinkish, purplish color. And when it dries, it dries white. When it turns to a white color, it means that it's dry and you can go in there and sand it. Also, you will need one of these spackling tools, and basically it is just to apply the material, and you want to take off as much material as you can. The less material that's on the wall, the less you will have to sand. This particular wall is what is called drywall. It's very popular, has been painted already. And this paint, I'm gonna guess, is an easy 15 years old. I will most probably put 3 coats of paint on this also, only because this paint, because it's so old, it will be very, very hard to get to a white color. Another important thing that you have to take into consideration is what you're actually wearing. I highly recommend using clothes that, number one, are comfortable, and number two, clothes that you don't mind getting some paint on. If you notice my shorts here, they have paint, but also I like to wear knee pads, only because when you're kneeling down, and you'll need a lot. This is all that I normally use when I am painting. I usually have two sets of gloves. One, this is my internal gloves, and these are a heavier glove with a special material for gripping. Because I'm going to get into a wet situation with the paint, what I will do is I will wear another pair of, I think these are latex powderless gloves. And the reason why I do that is because I want a moisture barrier between my utility gloves. Two different kinds of paint. I'm painting the whole house, so I've purchased several of these 5-gallon paints. One, they're cheaper when you're buying them in higher volumes, and if you know you're going to paint a large area, might as well invest in these bigger 5 buckets because they're actually cheaper than buying a 1 gallon at a time. You could purchase a ceiling paint. That's what I did in this room. I wanted to try a separate ceiling paint specifically for the ceiling. And honestly, I probably will not do it again, only because the tint of white is off with the regular white that I purchased specifically for the walls. We basically used this whole 5-gallon can just on this ceiling, and this is not a very big room, but because this room, the drywall was changed because it had mold and stuff like that. The drywall was new, it was never painted before, so it would just soak up all the paint that you lay on it. That's okay, I expected that, but it takes a lot longer. This is now our 3rd day painting this room. Actually, this is the 3rd day painting the ceiling, and it looks good at this stage, so I'm no longer going to touch the ceiling. I prefer water-based paint, but there are oil-based paint. These are what you call rolling pans. The rolling pans is used for these rollers. So the roller connects onto these roller handles, and then the rolling pan is what you use to spread paint on a wide area roller, and this is what you would use to paint a large area. I normally use these. All you do is put them on this aluminum tray or steel tray, I'm not sure, this metal tray. They're called liners. So you put the liners on here, you put the paint in here, and then you would use this as the roller. Obviously, you will not be using the roller all the time. That's where the paintbrush comes into play, because the paintbrush will get into the corners, and this is where you would use the paintbrush to get into the corners, to get into the tight areas where the roller will not be able to reach. And of course, you want to get one of these painting sticks so that you can attach it to your roller handle so that you can get far reaches, depending on how tall or how far you want to be from the painting area. I like to be a little bit far because as this roller spins, it will spray paint all over the place. So you want to be a little bit distant. Of course, you will need a painting stick or steerer, and they gave me these because these will fit right inside these 5-gallon drums. You want to steer the paint because most probably these sit in the stores for quite a while and they start to settle, so you just want to agitate the paint a little bit to mix the paint up. And what's nice is you can also purchase these spouts, and the spouts basically go on the top there, and then this way you can pour the paint without making a big old mess. This is a little cup. You put the paint in here and you put your paintbrush in. What's nice is it's got a little magnetic thing there. And of course, you want to have a ladder. The ladder is important for getting into high areas safely. Those are what you need, basic things for painting. 3 hours later, we are all done, or I'm all done. So now it's time to clean up. One important thing I forgot to tell you, actually two important things. One, you want to protect your flooring. If you do have flooring, tiles, whatever, you don't want paint on it, you want to get a cover, a drape, because your paint will drip. This roller, it can only hold so much paint and it will splatter all over the place. I recommend having a cover on the floor, have a cover on your countertops, furniture, whatever. And the other thing is I like to have music playing at the same time. Drape, music. You may want to have ebooks kind of thing, which is actually kind of interesting. That would be interesting as you're working, having an ebook. So now I'm finished. So I have the roller here. All I'm gonna do, because I will be painting again in a couple of days. So what I will do is I will just put this roller right back in its packaging. And then the paintbrush, I basically put it in a glove. I'm gonna be painting in a couple of days, so as long as you cover it, it will not dry. And I normally place my roller right next to the paint so that I know this paintbrush and roller is specific for this style or color paint. The only other thing that I will do is, one, you want to take off the spout. I had put that on, and you want to permanently, well, not permanently, but you want to close this pretty tight. You don't have to close it that tight, but you want to close it so that if it accidentally spills, you don't want that to be all over your floor. So this and this, I will basically rinse and let air dry. If it looks like I'm all sweaty and hot, that's because I'm all sweaty and hot. Anyway, there's the room. If you notice, it's a different color than before. This is only the primer paint. It's not perfect. As you could see, there's still some blemishes there. And that's the purpose of the primer paint. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be primero, the primer, the first coat. And what it will do is it will seep into the wall and kind of create a barrier between the wall and the actual surface. I will come in here and paint this room the final coat. If you have any comments, concerns, questions, if you have a project similar to this and you want to share it with me, my email is in my profile. I'd love to hear about your project. Nesta with Gluten-Free. Hope you're having a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day and week.